If you've been on social media searching for credit repair tips for any amount of time, you've definitely come across creators telling you that ChatGPT is the way to go in 2024. In today's video, I'll be reacting to a well-known creator named Marvin Francois. In this video, he'll walk you through how to leverage ChatGPT to repair your credit. Now, I don't personally think that ChatGPT is the most effective or efficient way to repair credit, but if you have no idea where to find your letters, it's not a bad place to go to get some templates. As we go through this video, I'm going to point out some of the positives as well as the negatives of trying to use ChatGPT to repair your credit. And if you can manage to stick around for the end of the video, I'll offer you an even better alternative than ChatGPT for the same price. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Using AI is the fastest and easiest way for you to clean your personal credit. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can leverage ChatGPT to get anything deleted from your credit report in 2024. Let's begin. So switching over to my handy dandy Google Doc, the first step is going to be to make sure we take time to review our credit report. Now, most people who I speak to who watch my videos, whenever I ask the golden question of, hey, what are you using to watch your or monitor your credit? They normally say either Experian or they say the Credit Karma app, neither of which am I a huge proponent of for reasons I'm not going to get too much into on this video. I've talked about it on countless other ones, but to quickly touch on it, they're just not the most accurate ways for us to be clear on what's taking place on our report. So if you have these are all right if you kind of, aren't in the process of trying to restore your credit. But in this case, and if you're watching this video because you want to stay away from apps like Experian and the Credit Karma app, and instead use a credit monitoring software that's going to give you the most accurate breakdown of what's taking place on your report. So that's the first step, right? Making sure that we get our report, take time to thoroughly review it, and then from here, using the information in the review process to now create a strategic plan on how we're going to get those negative items removed. From there, the next step after we've reviewed our report is now step 2, where we now have to find the negative items that are on our report and highlight whatever inaccuracies that are on there. So going back to what I said before, we want to take these negative accounts, whether it's collections, whether it's accounts with late payments, whether it's charge-offs, whatever it may be, to our advantage to go ahead and have those accounts removed. Now, for most people who are watching this video and who are in the credit restoration process as a whole, may or may not know that more than 80% of the negative items that you have on your credit report are inaccurate, right? They have some types of inaccuracies on them. And a couple of different inaccuracies that you guys can find on these accounts are closed accounts that are showing as open, right? If you have on-time payments, if you go to the payment history tab of your account, and you're able to see that there are certain payments that were on time or being reported as late or vice versa, that's an inaccuracy. If you have payment history that's inconsistent across all 3 credit reporting agencies, right? So let's say you have 1 or 2 credit reporting agencies that said you paid on time, but another credit reporting agency, whether it's Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian, that's saying, well, actually, no, you're 30 days or 60 days late. That's another inaccuracy that you could use. And there are several other ones that I could list off, but in short, for you guys to understand the base of what an inaccuracy is, so you understand what to look for on your credit report. An inaccuracy is whenever you have a part of your credit report that is not being reported the exact same way across all 3 credit reporting agencies, righty? So always remember that. All right, so coming down to this Capital One account, right? Right now, what we're looking at is a Capital One account with late payments. And there are several inaccuracies on here that we want to be able to use to go ahead and have this account removed. So if we're just looking at a couple of them, so for example, the date opened is not the same across all 3 credit reporting agencies, right? There are several inaccuracies that are here. Why? Because TransUnion is saying this account was opened on January 13th, but Experian and Equifax are saying the account was open on January 1st. That's an inaccuracy. Then we come over to high credit. High credit is not the same across all 3, right? Because you have one amount being reported for TransUnion and Experian that's not being reported the same as Equifax. That's an inaccuracy. This arrow is mistakenly put here. There's nothing wrong with the past due or the credit limit, but then we come over to the last reported. The last reported date is not the same, right? TransUnion and Experian are saying one thing, Equifax is saying another. The date of last active is not the same across all 3 credit reporting agencies, so that's another inaccuracy. The date of last payment is also not the same across all 3 credit reporting agencies. That's another one. And then, like we talked about earlier, when we talked about discrepancies within the payment history section, you'll notice here for December of 2021, TransUnion is saying this person's 30 days late, Experian is saying they're 30 days late, but Equifax is saying they're good. So this, once again, these are several inaccuracies that we can highlight and identify. Same exact way that we've done so here with all these red arrows and red markings. This is exactly how we would do it in our dispute letter to go ahead and have those account removed, right? So once again, being very clear on what the inaccuracies are. Now,
so while we're talking about inaccuracies on a credit report, not all inaccuracies are created the same. There is a hierarchy of the information that the credit bureaus take more seriously for some and less seriously for others. Okay, if you have a payment status that says that you are delinquent and then another bureau says that you are current, that's a very serious inaccuracy. When you have things like the balance reporting a few dollars off, that's not going to be so serious. So there are levels to the things that you want to be disputing from day one all the way through the end of your disputing process. You want to make sure that you are hitting the most important things at the beginning of your journey to try to shorten the process as much as possible.
Heading over to step number 3. Step number 3 is to use the law to leverage the inaccuracies in our favor. So coming up here, back up here to step number 2, we took our understanding of inaccuracies to identify different inaccuracies that we had here in the Capital One account. From there, now when we come over to step number 3 is then for us to use that law to leverage these inaccuracies in our favor. So once we identify the inaccuracies on our credit report, we want to use consumer law to have them removed, have those negative accounts removed. Now, the golden standard for you to remove anything from your report, from collections to charge-offs, late payments, repos, is 15 USC 1681 EB and 15 USC 1681 I5A, right? These are the ultimate 1-2 punch, especially when you find inaccuracies on the account. These are the ultimate 1-2 punch that you can use to challenge those inaccuracies. So what these laws say is for 15 USC 1681B, it states that whenever a consumer reporting agency prepares a consumer report, it shall follow reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy of the information concerning the individual about whom the report relates. And then in 15 USC 1681 I5A, this states that if after any reinvestigation under paragraph 1 of any information disputed by a consumer of an item of information is found to be inaccurate or incomplete or cannot be verified, the consumer reporting agency shall promptly delete that item of information from the file of the consumer or modify that item of information as appropriate based on the results of the reinvestigation and promptly notify the furnisher of that information that the information has been modified or deleted, right? So we want to go ahead and use these two laws together. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, Marv, I would love to use these two laws, but I'm not a consumer law expert. First and foremost, what do these mean? Well, all these laws here in layman's term are simply saying is that it's the credit reporting agency's responsibility to make sure that everything on your report is 100% accurate across all 3 credit reporting agencies.
Marvin, no. See, this is where the difference in our expertise comes in, because I've worked with attorneys that only do FCRA law. They only sue credit bureaus, creditors, and collectors. Now, what this really means, let's go back and reread it. Whenever a consumer reporting agency, and this is 15 USC 1681 EB, right? Whenever a consumer reporting agency prepares a consumer report, it shall follow reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy of the information concerning the individual about whom the report relates. It does not say anywhere in the FCRA, it does not say anywhere in the United States Code that it has to report 100% accurate. It says that they must go through all reasonable procedures to assure maximum possible accuracy. Maximum possible accuracy. Every attorney you talk to will tell you that and 100% are not the same. And they will use that against you in the court of law. A judge will not go by 100% accurate. A judge will decipher what maximum possible accuracy is per the case and per the account. Don't get it confused. You will see influencer after influencer after influencer tell you that everything has to report 100% accurate on your credit report. It does not. It has to report with the maximum possible accuracy. Now, if there is information missing across the board that does not allow for 100% accuracy, a judge will not use that against a creditor or the credit bureaus. Mark my words.
And if through your dispute, you're able to identify that that isn't the case, by law, they have to either update those inaccuracies to accurate or completely remove that account from your report. Now, the next question you may be having, now that I've broken down, is, okay, Marvin, I understand what these are saying, but how do I now use this inside of a letter? I don't have templates. Can you give me a template? Can you show me how to create the letter? This is where ChatGPT comes in, and this is where we now move over to step number 4. Because in step number 4, that's where we're going to take the account that we have with the inaccuracies. We're then going to take the laws that we have that challenge these inaccuracies directly and use ChatGPT as a tool to create the letters for us so that we don't have to bang our head against a wall to figure out how we're going to do it for ourselves. And it's a very simple process. All you need to do, and here's the rule of thumb when it comes to using ChatGPT for anything credit restoration related, you have to be able to give the right prompts to get the right return. So a lot of times what some people will do when they're trying to use ChatGPT to create dispute letters, they'll go in and they'll say, hey, ChatGPT, create a dispute letter so I can get this collection off. That's not enough enough information that you're giving the AI to where you're helping it to equip your letter with everything you need to give you the best chance for the best results. So let me give you guys a prompt that you can use that's going to help you to generate a really solid letter. You're going to go to ChatGPT and using these two laws that I gave you here, this is the exact prompt that you're going to give ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT, I have a late payment on an account on my credit report that has several inaccuracies. I would like to challenge this account to have it removed by using 15 USC 1681 EB and 15 USC 1681 I5, which state that all information on my credit report must be 100% accurate across all three credit reporting agencies. Otherwise, the account must be updated to reflect as accurate or removed from my report. And by law, I would like to have this account removed. And then from there, you want to follow it up with also, please include that in the letter that if my request is not fulfilled within 30 to 45 days, I will move forward with the litigation process to collect $1,000 in damages for each inaccuracy on my credit report. Here's the account name, capital 1. Here's the account number, 12345 XXXXX. Thank you. To break this down, going back to what I said, right prompts for the right return. When you give ChatGPT a prompt like this, you're going to get a much more thorough letter than if you just said, hey, I have a Capital One account. Can you create a dispute letter? I can get it removed. Because you're giving it the exact laws. You're giving it the context around the account. And on top of that, you're giving it the exact demands that you want or the exact result that you want for the credit reporting agencies to give you.
First of all, I have a huge gripe with this. And the reason why I have a huge gripe with this, if we have missed the first step in credit repair, the very first step in credit repair is to address your personal information that is attached to the negative accounts in your credit report to try to attempt to break the chain between your identification of being the owner of that account so that the credit bureaus cannot verify that information when they go back and talk to the creditors and collectors. By skipping that process, you give yourself a much lower chance of getting anything deleted, even if there are significant inaccuracies on the credit report. Credit repair is a step-by-step process. You need step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and step 6 sometimes. Typically speaking, step 4, step 5, and step 6 involve getting the CFPB and maybe even an attorney involved. But you do need steps 1 through 3 in order to get there. You need to collect evidence against the credit bureaus that they are willfully and wantonly reporting information inaccurately on your credit report and that you've been damaged by them doing so. This is not just a go find a template letter and just throw out template letters to the credit bureaus. Credit repair doesn't work that way. While this is cute, let's just cut this off. Let's cut this off. While this is cute, and it is a way to go get a template letter for a single account for 1 month, what are you going to do in month 2? Because we all know what's going to happen when you send in this letter. You're going to get a stall letter response. Hey, we received a letter that doesn't look like you sent it, or that doesn't look like you created it, or hey, we need more identification, or whatever the hell they decide to stall you out with. What's the next step, Marvin? What are they going to do next? So my frustration with this whole ChatGPT thing and even template letter schemes is that they don't walk you through the process. They put you through a whole bunch of manual labor to get this information. And then what's your frustrated ass going to do when you get that stall letter in the mail? ChatGPT has no idea. You know why? Because ChatGPT has to be trained. It has to have thousands, sometimes millions of inputs go through it so that it can learn the proper way to respond. And if you got a bunch of novices inserting information like this without any follow-up, ChatGPT ain't got the information for you either, baby. Now, I was going to cut this video off, but I am interested to see if he can actually walk you through an entire 4-month process of credit repair using ChatGPT.
What we're now going to do here is we're going to take this exact prompt as is. We're not going to change anything. We're going to even include the thank you in there too, right? Some of y'all be talking to ChatGPT like it's just a computer. I would like to be respectful to ChatGPT, telling, hey, hi, hello, how you doing? Thank you, all of that. So now we're here inside of the ChatGPT tab, right? Once we get inside of the ChatGPT tab, you guys are going to take the exact prompt that I just gave you, paste it. So Command V. You see, I didn't change anything here. It's exactly as is. And let's see what kind of letter that ChatGPT gives us. Right? Boom. So now what this does for you is that you no longer have to use templates. You no longer have to pay hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to have a company give you a bunch of templated letters. You can create your own in the snap of a finger for absolutely free. You just have to be clear on the right prompts that you can use to get letters like this. Look how thorough this letter is, right? So here it's leveraging the exact laws that we want to have used. It's referencing the account name and the account number. It's giving the context that we've identified inaccuracies that go against these laws, right? and it breaks everything down that we need in regards to it. And then look at this. It also refers to what we asked as well, which is the litigation. Failure to address and correct these inaccuracies will leave me no choice but to pursue legal action. Under the FCRA, I am entitled to collect $1,000 in damages for each inaccuracy present on my credit report. So we got everything. Look at this. The inaccuracies in this account affecting my credit score and financial standing unjustly, as per my rights under the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, I demand that this issue be resolved within the legally specified time frame of 30 to 45 days from the receipt of this letter. So talk about putting your foot on the credit reporting agency's neck, right? From here, and to give a little bit more context as to why I told you guys to put the prompts that you put here to get the results that you're getting, right?
It's a beautiful
so let's come back
letter.
here. Some of you guys may be seeing
Really
this and like, okay, Marv, I
template.
understand the law, but why is it that you added this part here about the litigation? So now, to answer a big question I know you guys probably may have in the comment section, well, Marv, why would I tell them I'm going to move forward with litigation? I have no desire to go into courthouses and dispute with Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax in person. I know you don't. Neither do I. However, this is the reason why I told you guys to say it. We make the claim that we're going to move forward with litigation even if we aren't, because from my experience with seeing other people dispute with credit reporting agencies, it's a great way to put pressure on them to speed up the process of having negative accounts removed. So in previous videos I've taught you guys all different types of strategies, the 1-10-20 method, leveraging freezing secondary credit reporting agencies. I've taught you about BBB complaints, CFPB complaints, the list goes on and on and on. In 2024, one of the best ways that you can speed up the process of having the credit reporting agencies get those negative accounts off is putting pressure on them by making a claim that you are going to move forward with litigation. Because the credit reporting agencies do not want to expend their resources sending lawyers to courthouses to dispute, to go back and forth with you on if inaccuracies on your credit report. So using this is a great way to once again put that pressure on them, especially if you are later stages of your credit repair dispute process and you've been going back and forth with them and they're not giving you a budge. So that's why we go ahead and add that here, right? And then saying that in the event that these inaccuracies aren't changed, we're going to be taking them to court for $1,000 in damages for each inaccuracy that's present on our report. Now, once we get that letter from ChatGPT, we're going to copy it. So we come to the bottom of this letter here in ChatGPT, we click copy, and then we come and open a Google Doc here where we paste it. So as you guys can see, I already took time. I already had a letter here that was put. I'll replace this letter. I should replace this letter with the one that ChatGPT just spit out, because the one that they just spit out is way better. So let's put that here. We want to remove this part, right? Definitely don't need that. And we don't need this part here. Let me remove this part here. This is also from ChatGPT. Now, boom, we have our letter. So we have our section where we're going to be putting our name, section where the credit reporting agency's name is going to go. We have everything that we need, and it has all the information here, right? Breaking everything down piece by piece. Now, once we come in here into Google Doc to take the information we got from ChatGPT and put it to here into this dispute letter, the next thing that we want to go ahead and make sure that we do is we want to include a couple of things, right? We want to include our proof of address, we want to include the proof of ID, and we want to include the highlighted inaccuracies on the negative account, right? So these are the three things we want to make sure that we have, right? Why? Because when you're sending these letters out to the credit reporting agencies, if you don't include these things, it's going to, if you don't include this, which is the breakdown of the different inaccuracies that are on your report, it's going to make it increasingly difficult for you to be able to get those negative items removed, because you're showing them point blank, like, hey, these are the inaccuracies, to where it's making it harder for them to dispute against it. And then as it pertains to your ID and then and your utility, obviously you guys know this isn't me, I'm much more handsome, but you include this because if you don't, then the credit reporting agencies are going to come back and say, well, we don't believe that this is actually you, we think that you have someone else disputing on your behalf, so as a result we're not going to,
they're going to do that anyway.
Asking for words, right? So you want to make sure that you also include a copy of your driver's license if you don't have one, a copy of state issued ID or a passport will work, and then for your proof of address, it could be a bank statement, it could be a utility bill, it could be a gas, it could be a phone bill, just something connected to a company that has your name and current address, place of residence on there will work just fine. So that'll be good to go from there. Once you have had this letter, so let's recap, right? We got our credit report from My Free Score Now. We understand what an inaccuracy is. We use an actual example of how to find inaccuracies in an account, like an example, a Capital One account with late payments. We then identified laws that work against these inaccuracies, so 15 USC 1681 EB and 15 USC 1681 I5A. We then used those laws. Instead of us going to pay a bunch of money for some templated letters, we went to ChatGPT to create the letters for us, right? Using the law and using the information about this account. We gave it this exact prompt that spit out the letter spit out. And then from there, we made sure to structure the letter properly with the highlighted accounts and our personal ID and our proof of address Now, the next step after that is for us to move forward and go ahead with actually mailing the letter out. All right, so now once you've created your dispute letter with ChatGPT, the next step is going to be to mail it out. Now, most people when mailing either go to the post office, or if they're doing it online, I know that the big two in terms of just disputing is 30-day CRA or letter stream. I'm not really a huge fan of either. I really like Postelocity, which I'm going to show you guys how to use right now to send your letters out, so you don't have to stand in those long pesky lines at the post office. So once you create an account with Postelocity, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. From there, of course, you would come in, you would add a certain amount of funds for you to be able to mail your first letter out. I would say put anywhere between like $5 to $10, because the average letter isn't going to cost you more than like $1.50. Money for some templated letters. We went to ChatGPT to create the letters for us, right? Using the law and using the information about this account. We gave it this exact prompt that spit out the letter spit out. And then from there, we made sure to structure the letter properly with the highlighted accounts and our personal ID and our proof of address. Now, the next step after that is for us to move forward and go ahead with actually mailing the letter out. All right, so now once you've created your dispute letter with ChatGPT, the next step is going to be to mail it out. Now, most people when mailing either go to the post office, or if they're doing it online, I know that the big two in terms of just disputing is 30-day CRA or letter stream. I'm not really a huge fan of either. I really like Postelocity, which I'm going to show you guys how to use right now to send your letters out, so you don't have to stand in those long pesky lines at the post office. So once you create an account with Postelocity, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. From there, of course, you would come in, you would add a certain amount of funds for you to be able to mail your first letter out. I would say put anywhere between like $5 to $10, because the average letter isn't going to cost you more than like $1.50 to $2.50 tops. From there, once you have that set up, then you come here to where it says start job. Now, once you click where it says start job, you're going to see a section down here that appears where it's going to say letter, postcard, oversized card. You're going to come to letter, right? Now, once you're in letter, you're going to name whatever your job is, and you're going to upload the PDF that you were able to get, which was the dispute letter you created. So sample dispute here. Now, automatically what Postelocity is going to do based on how your letter is formatted, you can actually set up data zones where Postelocity knows for every letter, if you decide to continually use this, whether it's for yourself or for other people, they'll know to where in every letter to look to find the mailing address that you're sending it out to. However, in this case, we are not going to be doing all of that. We're going to be going ahead and putting it in manually. As you can see, it already kind of did it here. But if we allow it to stay like this, of course, in the actual address is going to. So we're going to put it in manually. So we're going to come here and we're going to click from list manual. Then we're going to click manually add receipt. And let's say we want to send this letter to TransUnion, right? Let's go ahead and send it to TransUnion. And we're going to send it to TransUnion Consumer Solutions. So we're going to get the mailing address from TransUnion. We're going to come back here to Postelocity, right? And we're going to go boom. And then we're going to get the PO box, boom, here. Under that, we're going to come and we're going to get the actual city, state, and zip. And once we finish putting that, we're going to click here where this box says click to parse address and apply below. We're going to do that. And then boom, it segmented the information for us. And now we officially have our recipient of the letter that we're getting ready to send out. And then we're going to click here where it says process this job. From there, it's going to now go through the PDF that you've uploaded. It's going to scan the addresses that you provide. It's the system is basically going through all the information you've given it up until this point to verify and validate everything that you put together, so that on their back end they can put things together to now prepare to mail out the dispute. So you see here it says importing, finally at 100%. Usually it'll take a couple seconds after it gets to 100% before it brings you to the page that you need to go ahead and review the letter and mail it out. So we'll give it a couple of seconds here, and boom, we have arrived. Now, once you get to this page with the same credit repair dispute, remember this is the same PDF that we got from the letter we got from our ChatGPT. We're going to see that it says one, we want to verify the samples. So you must click here to open digital proof and review. So you could either do that here, or you can click this box here where it says digital proof verified. And what's going to happen is it's going to open a new tab where it's going to show you what's in the letter. And as you can see, the letter for the address where we're sending it to, which is TransUnion, is here. Obviously, we have a sample address here. So this isn't, you would put your actual address here when you're setting up your Postelocity account. So we don't have that here. And then from there, when you scroll down, you see the exact letter that we've generated. So the same exact verbiage, all the information. Then you can see here they included the breakdown of the account. This letter is black and white. Obviously, you guys would do it in color so they could see some of the different red notations. But if you don't, it's not the biggest thing in the world. You can keep it as black and white. Then you have your ID, your proof of address, and now this letter is ready to get sent out. So they reviewed the address you provided for TransUnion, and they said the address is solid. The date that it will be mailing out is set to. You would come here, you would click pay and approve for mailing, and then boom, you would send your letter out. and you'd be good to go from there. I'm not going to click it here because since my address that I put on the letter is invalid, they're not going to let me send it unless I put an actual return address on the letter. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing that in this video, but this is how you can now use Postelocity to go ahead and send out your letters. So once again, as a recap, we took time to get our credit report. We took time to identify negative items and how we can identify inaccuracies within those negative items using a real example I provided you guys. We then took time to identify different laws we could use to use those inaccuracies to our advantage to have them removed. And we used AI to then create our dispute letters that we would be sending out to the credit reporting agencies, exported that letter, and then mailed it out all from the comfort of our laptop screen.
Now that was the end of Marvin's video, but as promised, I want to show you guys a better way to do this using his actual process of using ChatGPT to repair your credit. Now when we look at step number 1, you have to go review your credit report, which means you have to sign up for a credit monitoring service and be able to go line by line through the report knowing what you're looking for. Step 2, you got to find the negative items and highlight the inaccuracies. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I know tons of people who would look at a credit report and not have a damn clue what they're looking at, let alone have the ability to go through and find the inaccuracies on each account. Now, Marvin just walked you through the process of doing one account on your credit report. Many people have like 10, 20, 30. I've had clients that have 40 plus negative accounts in their credit report. How long is it going to take you to sit there and go through each one of those accounts, trying to figure out every single inaccuracy on every single negative account? That doesn't sound like something I want to do. I ain't gonna lie to you. Next, you got to be able to use the law to leverage these inaccuracies on the negative accounts to try to get them deleted through the credit bureaus. Now, he gave you a couple of cool laws that will work for some circumstances, but not all. So what if that method doesn't work? Then what do? Well, there is using Metro 2 compliance to address negative items on your credit report, but that wasn't covered at all in this video. And then number 4, you got to take your prompt to ChatGPT and try to create that letter for that one account for that 1 month. Now, ChatGPT did spit out a pretty good looking template. Not gonna lie to you, that was a beautiful letter. But what are you gonna do the next month? What prompt are you gonna use to get that next set of letters that need to be different than this letter, or else you're gonna be marked as a frivolous disputer? And then step number 5, you gotta mail out the letters through Postelocity. Now that looked like it sucked. And once again, that was just for one single letter. Now, when people ask me why I helped create Dispute Beast, this is the reason why. Because the credit repair process as a whole sucks, even when you have this kind of convenience at your disposal. Me and Mike and our partners got together a few years ago and released the technology to you guys, and you didn't even know it. Mike was running his own DIY program. I was running my own DIY program, and we put thousands of you guys' disputes through our system that then became Dispute Beast. Dispute Beast has been trained to be the most potent DIY software in the game. And let's not forget one of the most important things that Marvin missed in his video, and that's the fact that you not only have to dispute with the big 3 credit bureaus, you got to dispute with LexisNexis, Innovis, whatever third-party reporting agencies that's housing the information that's being verified through the big 3 credit bureaus, as well as the creditors and collectors themselves. You're going to go through this process to dispute with the collection company. You're going to go through this process to dispute with the third-party credit reporting agencies. You're going to go through this process to dispute with LexisNexis and Innovis. You ain't gonna do that shit. Listen, you guys, if you want a system that's going to review your credit report, find all the negative items and highlight the inaccuracies for each one, use consumer law or Metro 2 or factual disputing to create your dispute letters for you and mail them out at the click of a button, and I mean every single letter for that month at the click of a button within a 5-minute time frame every month, I want you to go to beastdiy.com right now and check out Dispute Beast. You will see for yourself that not only will the letters that Dispute Beast create obliterate these letters by ChatGPT, but you'll do it in a fraction of the time for the same price. And as usual, I want to thank you guys for supporting my content, because I know you guys have thousands of places on the internet, including Marvin Francois' channel, to get your credit information, but you're here with me. Be blessed.